Dallas Theater Center down in the pit with my setup for The Sound of Music. You can see behind me, pretty normal setup, timpani, drum set, xylophone, bells. But the thing that's probably unusual that you're not used to seeing in The Sound of Music is the fact that there's a vibraphone and a MalletKAT back there. The show was reorchestrated to be without woodwinds and brass. It's just strings, keyboard, harp, and percussion. So we added some other colors by way of the vibraphone and the MalletKAT, which is playing celeste. Originally, the orchestrator wasn't sure if he was going to use other sounds, so we went with the MalletKAT to be able to provide a variety of options, but we just had celeste on there in the end. One thing about playing in a small setup like this where you have to turn around a lot, especially when you're using in-ear monitors, is that sometimes if you forget to keep turning back the same way that you turned, your headphone wires get caught around your chair. So I ended up hanging my headphone extender actually above me. You see that wire right up there? So my headphones come down from above, so that way as I twist and turn, nothing ever gets caught up. Because you really don't need much for this show other than kick, snare, hi-hat, and a cymbal, there are no toms really needed, so I put the temple block and wood block onto my music stand coming out of my bass drum. And then mounted a tray stand here for easy access for all the changes. Have to have the bells and the xylophone to my immediate right. Also have a triangle mounted over here to my right. You notice we don't have a chime, and that's because we actually recorded the sound ahead of time, and they just play it back over the system. I have timpani on my left. I have the ballad snares on this Dynamicx drum. I also really love the throw on this system because it's really quiet turning off and on, which is great for shows. On my vibraphone, I've replaced the original felt damper with the gel damper available from John Piper, the Piper Vibe shop. I really like the sound change that it's brought to the instrument. When I dampen something, it doesn't have that slightly harsh metallic sound that sometimes happens with felt, but it's a very clean and clear cutoff. Something else to point out would be that in musical theater we often mark our parts a little different than you do maybe in an orchestra or band, because that music is set but our music is sometimes in flux. So for example, we originally cut from 61 to 77 of this piece. Rather than scratch out all those bars, I used a little I-beam and a line to connect it so I knew to jump from there to there. And today, on our first preview show, our note is that all that music is being restored. So it's really easy for me to just erase those two little marks and not have to worry about erasing stuff that I've scribbled out across a whole page. Circled notes where other indications tell me not to play those. But the nice thing is, if we ever revert that, it's easy enough to get rid of the mark and I can still see what's underneath the original material really easily. I'm here in the pit for The Sound of Music.